From Rich Alvarez in Northern California, this is Video Game Fights. And now your host, Rich Alvarez.
Hello and welcome to Video Game Fights. I'm Rich Alvarez. This is our second episode overall, and I hope you enjoyed the first because we're going to be doing this a lot. All right, let me introduce to you this week's crew. To my left is Mr. Garrett Allen. Say hi.
Hello, I am Garrett Allen, as seen last on this exact show, and often on Richie's channel.
To his left is Steven Colson.
Yeah, I'm Steven Colson. I'm a newcomer. I'm a human in real life, and I'm on the internet.
And to his left is Nick Lunetta.
Hello, I am Nick Lunetta.
All right. You may recognize Nick Lunetta from YouTube on Stupid Mario World this fall. Or you may not if you never saw it.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
All right, guys. As usual, we have 5 questions, and I'm going to go around and ask you guys those questions. You'll each give me your pitch for those answers, and then you guys will fight until there is a winner of my choosing. We can check facts, and we can get opinions, but ultimately I have the final say on who the winner of each round is. And then when we are down to the two winners after the 5 questions, we will do a speed round, and the person with the least amount of points will be helping me decide on the winners at that point. So are you guys ready to do Video Game Fights?
We are!
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm so glad that you are ready because
I'm
so
killing
am
with a
I.
beer bottle! It's fine, it's fine. It's not that kind of fight. It's not that kind of fight. It's not.
No hand-to-hand combat!
You says you.
All right. Round 1.
In Spanish?
Actually, there's one thing I want to do before I actually ask this question. Do you go to the fat cam there?
What's up, Fat Cam?
Hey, say hi there.
Yo, what up? That's me.
Hello.
Oh, there's Jackie.
Hi.
Jackie's going to be the one who's going to tell us if we're stupid or not. She is the fact checker.
Fact checker / blanket cam right over there.
I have that power.
Yeah, right.
I'm a blanket.
With the power of blankets.
All right, and let's get started.
And I'm timer, 2 minutes. Yeah.
That's right. We have put in a new factor this time because for the sake of time and for the sake of pitches not going over 10 minutes, we are going to limit the pitches to 2 minutes. I think that's plenty of time to give a pitch, and then during the argument sections of the rounds, it will just go until I decide on a winner. All right, Derek, you got 2 minutes ready? As soon as Garrett starts talking, Garrett, what video game what is the best video game based on a movie?
Okay, now I'm talking. I am making a pitch for Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I think Shadows of Mordor was a phenomenal game in a lot of reasons. For starters, there's a lot of games out there that were based on movies that fill in a very direct, are basically a retelling of the movie or retelling of something that happened in the movie. Those almost never go well. Or if they do, then why do they need to exist if they're retelling existing content? Shadows of Mordor is something that I personally very much like. It bridged existing lore. It took something that we didn't see that happened behind the scenes in Lord of the Rings, and it brought it to light. It brought to light kind of the fall of Mordor from within. Second of all, we have this Mordor by itself was just a really amazing game. It had some of the most unique fight sort of mechanics that we see in a game today. I mean, the sword play in that game was feedback sensitive to a crazy degree. It was the fantastic extrapolation of what we saw in Arkham, but even better and with archaic weapons. And then furthermore, it introduced this concept that we've really never seen done as well in another game, and that's the emergent villain concept. For those of you who haven't played it, Shadows of Mordor pitted you against a fixed number of sort of orc warlords, or Uruk-hai warlord, depending on kind of where you're at in the game, and you squared against them. If you killed them, then sweet, those warbands disperse. But if an orc won against you, then that orc would level up, and they would level up with time. And by the time I was at the end of the game, the story had almost become secondary to me fighting these adversaries that had been harassing me throughout the game. My context was emergent and felt very rooted in the Lord of the Rings universe. I think it's the best retelling of a video game movie.
Good. That wasn't even 2 minutes, right?
I'm concise.
Minute 40.
Well,
very good.
shit.
That's a lot of talking.
All right.
Fit some words in.
Excellent. Let's move on to Steve. All right. Steven, what is the best video game based on a movie?
In my humble opinion, the best video game based on a movie is Alien Isolation. That is because, in my opinion, a lot of movie games end up actually being tied down by their movie material, regardless of like fantastic gameplay. They just have to hit these different points in the plot line, and it becomes clunky and awkward, and it distracts from like the core experience of the game. And I think Alien Isolation is a great example of a game, of the rare game that actually benefited from the movie content that it drew from. I think it pulls from a lot of things people love about the Alien franchise, and it has that same kind of cinematic experience because of the way they tell the story, you know, not just solely out of cutscenes, never out of cutscenes that are like directly from an Alien movie, because that's super cheesy, like instant disqualification if anyone picks something with that. I think that's the worst. And yeah, and then and yeah, I think just the way you play it feels really cinematic, especially the fact that it is based on a movie, but it is its own original plotline. I think that brings a lot of freshness to the table. And I think it's just a really tasteful, like classy, unique game. They're using Alien like to appeal to the Alien fan base, but you can tell it's not all just fan service. You can know nothing about the movie and still greatly enjoy the game. I think that's a great benefit. It can even like be kind of an introduction to the franchise, in my opinion, because I had seen Alien movies but not in forever, and then I played that game and it kind of like restored my love for the franchise. So I think it's super successful from like a marketing strategy, like bringing more interest to the Alien franchise, and then I think it's just really successful as a game. Great feelings of fear that the movie brings, and the experience of, you know, feeling helpless isn't something that a lot of video games capture, especially a lot of horror games. They rely on a lot of jump scares, but honestly you cannot see the alien for like almost the entire game and still like shit your pants. So I think it's an incredible game. Yeah.
All right. Where was that?
Minute 40.
Minute 40. Maybe
Wow.
where we should have put the timer. Huh? Now this is good.
No,
This is good.
I feel like a minute 40 is working good.
I'm gonna kill this right now. Let me tell
All right. All right, Nick, Mr. Lanetta, tell me, what is the best video game based on a movie?
I think you got a good argument here. So make it happen.
I forgot what he picked.
All right, guys. So I got permission from Rich to do this one.
Oh yeah, shit.
I was allowed to bring in Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, let's talk about a game here that brings all of our childhood favorite movies, Hercules, Beauty and the Beast, all, and they just bring them into one entire thing. And then you just you play a character that goes and immerses into this entire game, and you get to go around, you explore, you grow, you start to feel for these characters, and it's just crap. You know what? This game, it's not like normal games where, and also we always want the third one. We're always trying to see. We always want more. It's a game that's loved by everybody. It came out in 2002. And you know, it was one of my favorite games growing up. I didn't really get to play a lot of video games, so when I got to go home and play Kingdom Hearts and play some of my favorite Disney characters, it was just fun, and I got to grow through it all. We go through each level, growing up, grinding, grinding, trying to get the next Keyblade, and you know, I'm failing at this, but you know, that's my argument, and yeah, Kingdom Hearts, pick it.
Was he a minute 40?
All right.
No, he was not.
All right.
You got a snort out of Derek. That's a victory in itself.
I have heard everything that you guys wanted to say. All right. So now we are moving on to the argument round. So, fight.
Okay. Well, I guess because I'm going to go after Alien Isolation, and I will say this right out the gate. I like Alien Isolation. I think it's good. But is it the best retelling of a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too sure. You mentioned how it's like it kind of, you know, a lot of games are kind of tied down by their source material. I think Alien Isolation. I don't think that about Alien Isolation at all. In fact, I think literally the dead opposite. I think it's too reliant on its source material. I think you strip away the well-established sort of alien aesthetic and whatnot, and you're left with kind of just a retelling of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Because it's a good, solid horror game, but it literally does nothing that like Amnesia hasn't done, or other games that again like are just basically the non-jump scare sort of spectrum of horrors. A lot of that, and while that's cool, it's it also suffers from some of the pacing issues that the Alien movies do, and the fact that like there's this huge spectrum, this awesome build-up. So like, oh god, here comes the alien, and then the alien is introduced, and then it's like hours and hours and hours of run and hide, rinse, repeat. So that's good. And this is an open dialogue, so you can refute it in real time.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, no, go for it. Go for it. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah, during the argument phase, you guys can talk over each other. I want to see you guys argue.
Okay. So I'm gonna say definitely the amnesia jab is a weak jab because that's totally like a puzzle horror game. There's the element of the monster chasing after you, but there's definitely scenes in amnesia where the monster's not even a factor. You're just solving a puzzle. So I think Alien is unique because it is an action.
That's very much the case with Alien.
There's no puzzles. Unless you're like really bad at the game and it's confusing you, I don't know.
I mean, it's different from point A to point B, don't die.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, but no.
I mean, that's like the foundation of all video games from the inception of Mario is like go there. So,
but I mean, then we go on to Shadows of Mordor. It's just like any problem you have with any fantasy game going on is the fact that it gets to the point where it gets so convoluted, where there's so much going on. You're trying to get to this main point, and it just gets too much after a while. I mean, it's a lot of the same thing building for the entire game, and that's because I've played Shadows of Mordor. It's one of the few ones that I did actually end up playing, and it didn't catch me. I don't know.
like the fact that like you build your adversaries, that you build your adversarial base, that the bosses, the guys you're fighting at the end game are unique to your experience.
I think unless you're like the hugest Lord of the Rings nerd, then there is something kind of exhausting about the franchise on a whole, and how it's just like every movie, every book, every video game just keeps like building and piling on like more and more stuff. That I feel like a game like Shadows of Mordor, like I could feel like fresher and more free, I guess, without the source material. Like if it was just a video game without like having to remember like all of the names of all the creatures. Like maybe I'm lame for not being able to remember that kind of stuff, but I feel like bogged down by that.
Well, I understand. It's really cool that you build on as a character that goes to your very thing. I get that. That's cool, but I don't know. I like the idea of there being one big badass at the very end. I mean, like, yeah, you've had some battles in between the very beginning, but I mean, I don't want some that I've beat to keep on coming back after a while. That gets tiring.
I mean, fair point, but also like every other game has done that. That has been done so many times.
True.
Here's a game that offered you an alternative to that, and it was like a compelling alternative. And then on top of that, it was for those of us that are invested in the movie franchise, that was something that very much existed within the minds of people. You could connect it to the fandom very directly. You know, you could, and in the answering the question of like, you know, what game sort of extrapolates to a movie and vice versa, how do they feed off each other? Assuming that fandom matters, then yes, those enemies need to matter in that context.
Rich has a finger.
Nick,
yes.
So I haven't heard enough from you. Why is Kingdom Hearts better than these two games?
Okay.
What does it offer?
Character. No, that's bullshit. I'm sorry about that.
I actually think you're onto something.
Kingdom Hearts.
No, it offers the story of almost the teaching of growing up almost. I mean, you take this kid who has been on an island all of his life, wanting to get out with his friends, and all of a sudden he's just thrown into this totally new reality, like new creatures, new things going, new world he's traveling to. And it's just him growing through his process. And then you also have side stories where you watch Riku's growing or Kairi's growing, and it's all of these things, and it's just going to this big, huge point to let it... Yes.
Growing to a climax.
Alright, I've heard enough. Already I think I like the way I'm doing this better. I was trying to be too tame in that, you know, I'm sure it's the funny thing is I haven't, when we are recording this episode, we have not put the first episode online yet. So I have no idea what you guys are going to say about it, but I can bet you that some of the comments will be like, oh, Rich, you shouldn't have been guiding the arguments, because I was like, all right, now, what do you think about that, and what do you think about that? And I was too nice about
I think
arguments.
that's fair for
I got
this episode.
that was fair for this one, but I like just boom, fight, and then I'll figure out what I need to hear after that, like when I asked Nick. However, that is the end of the first round.
That was a smooth first round. That already feels better.
Okay.
That already feels better.
I feel like it might work better if you like throw, if you like stir the pot, like go in and ask someone if you want to hear more from them, like bring a dig into their argument, like be like, oh
yeah, Richie, you should throw shade.
Yeah, you need to throw more shade. You need to get us angry.
Okay, here's the thing. So I heard a lot of different arguments between Alien and the Shadow of Mordor. I asked Nick why, but I still just kind of got more of like why you like Kingdom Hearts. I didn't hear enough of what made Kingdom Hearts the best game based on a movie. It was just why it's good to you. I appreciate the fact that you really like Kingdom Hearts, but I wasn't really getting like how is this the best game based on a movie? I was hearing Nick really likes Kingdom Hearts.
But Nick does.
Nick wants you to know that he likes Kingdom Hearts
If the question was,
as much as
does
you
Nick
do.
like Kingdom Hearts? Nick won that round hands down.
I can't wait to start doing these episodes live because then we'll have Twitter polls like for get the fans' opinions too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tag Nick, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So here's what it came back. So unfortunately, Nick, you kind of weren't in the running for this one. So it really came down between Garrett and Steve. And
as usual, I'm sure you're gonna struggle with the decision because
of course,
just so good.
Yeah, you guys had really good back and forth. However, it was when and you know I am taking notes. It was when Garrett said the thing about it kind of being like just like Amnesia with aliens, and that he felt like it wasn't maybe the greatest adaptation of the movie, whereas his really felt like it was in the lore of Lord of the Rings. Is where I'm kind of slightly leaning towards Garrett. However, Steve, you also had really great like presentation with your pitch. So I mean, I think that you guys were pretty equal. So actually, I'm going to go to the fact cam. I'm going to go to the fact cam and get your guys' opinions. So Garrett, what did you think? Who had the best argument?
We share a mother.
That's
Derek and Steve are brothers.
yeah, that's my brother.
Well, that's the point to Garrett.
He's not your brother today.
No, absolutely not. Which, right? Begs a whole different set of questions. So, as far as the argument goes, I think Garrett had a really good point with his argument, and so did Steven, much like you said, Rich. However, Garrett's counterpoints when he started to target Alien Isolation, none of them ended up being valid. I played a very limited amount of that game, and I can tell you it was wrong. I don't need to fact check to tell you that that's not a puzzle solver.
Yeah, but the best part is literally the beginning.
But
Your unbiased opinion, Steven had the better argument.
in my unbiased opinion, my brother actually did have the best argument.
Then we're gonna go to Jackie. Jackie, did you find anything that they said to be questionable? Did you find any facts?
No, it was pretty smooth sailing this round. I did a couple of fact checks about like the years all these games came out and all that, and Nick was right about Kingdom Hearts being in 2002.
That was impressive.
I also found a conversation online on a thread asking if Amnesia: The Dark Descent was like Alien, and somebody asked that question, and everyone was like, "Oh fuck no." Dude, those games are so different. So,
Interesting. Like I said,
The web form is smarter than me.
now listen, I don't remember if I said this on camera or not, but facts and opinions, like Derek's opinion and Jackie's facts, may or may not sway my opinion. They could have gotten a fact wrong, but I'm like, you know what? But they made a passionate argument about something. However, this time, the Amnesia thing was what was pulling me towards Garrett.
But Richie,
And
Nick really likes Kingdom Hearts.
It means a lot to him in his childhood.
Maybe next time. All right, so, all right, Steve gets the point. Steve wins round one.
Drink.
Oh yeah.
Drink.
So that's 1 point for Steve and 0 for Garrett and Nick so far. There's only been one round. All right, round 2. And this time we're going to start with Steve.
All right.
Steven, do you like Steve or Steven, by the way?
Steven.
Steven,
Thank
okay.
you, sir.
I'm gonna put the N in there so I can't stop saying Steve. Steve. All right. Guys, just so you know, his name is Steven. I apologize for calling you Steve.
That's fine.
All right. So Steven, what is the most overrated game?
Okay, so
I love this question.
the most overrated video game, and I am sticking very strongly to the word overrated and not the worst game, because I don't think this is a bad game, is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I think this game has been like hugely overhyped, especially with so many people saying it's the greatest video game of all time. In my personal opinion, a video game should be able to stand alone by itself and offer players like a reasonable chance to complete it without any outside interference. But clearly, Ocarina of Time is not that game. None of their puzzles offer any kind of reasonable hints. You can't really think through any of them. You just have to pull levers and like try stuff until something hopefully works. And honestly, like I kind of feel like it's a ploy for them to sell like Ocarina of Time guides back in the olden days when you could just Google stuff. But even today, if you play it, it's just exhausting to be in the water temple and to have to pull out your phone to like figure out how to play through the game. At that point, you might as well be watching like a walkthrough. And I don't know, it's just really, it's not the experience that I want to have out of a video game, and I feel like a lot of people feel the same. It's not as groundbreaking as a lot of people would say. All the RPG elements that are in this game were from previous Zelda games, and honestly they're executed more poorly in here. The environments are really sparse. I mean, I know a lot of that has to do with like the rendering limits that they had, but it was kind of a stupid idea to take the processing power they had and use that to build just a giant empty field instead of like a room or a town or something with something interesting in it that you can engage with. And yeah, so honestly, I think a lot of fans of like the prior Zelda games were really disappointed in this game, so it didn't really move the series forward in that way, in my opinion. And I think like as far as being like the first 3D game, like definitely not. Like Super Mario 64 came before, and I definitely like prefer that game. I think a lot of people do. And I just think in general, like it's not a bad game. It's a little boring to me, but I know a lot of people like the feeling of exploration. But it's just overhyped.
Means that's the end of your pitch. Nick, what is the most overrated game?
You know what, man? I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be the Alpha Sapphire Omega Ruby.
And that's Generation 3, right?
Technically,
yes.
It's not the remakes. Yeah. Let's be honest. That game didn't need a remake. I don't understand why Pokemon is recycling some of their older games, but that one in particular didn't need it. Like, I know it was just coming off of Pokemon X and Y, which was just total change to the graphics and the gameplay and all that fun stuff. But, you know, here we come playing in a game that wasn't all that popular when it first came out. It wasn't the most popular. And then they just changed, ruined everything. Like, first off, let's talk about the fact that you get a legendary halfway through the game. And one of my favorite things going when I was younger, and I know I'm not the only one on this, was that chase when you beat the Elite Four trying to find Latias or Latias. And instead, they give it to you. And then it's like, okay, we have the legendary now. And that's just kind of boring to me. And it's just... It was just too much. It's almost like they made it too neat, too clean. And it's a different game than the other ones. It's different than Pokemon, the first generation, second generation. And then all of a sudden they come out with this, and you have to try and figure out these new sounds, new HMs, trying to figure this shit out. And it's just too much and didn't need to be remade. It really didn't. And all I ever hear nowadays is how great it was. You get to ride on Latios and Latias. You get to go and do all these amazing things. And I don't know. I think if you polish a turd, it's still a turd. That's me.
Then let's reset the time, and Garrett, tell us what...
Before the time starts, I really love that we've all picked games that will wrestle Jimmy's.
With apologies to people who like that.
Honestly.
I love that there's...
Oh, no, I love Pokemon. It's my favorite video game franchise. I just couldn't stand the Alpha Sapphire.
We're not saying it's bad.
I hope there's people going after each of us individually and personally and violently in the comments.
I want death threats.
That's what I wish for.
All right, Garrett.
Oh, a battle from heaven.
Maybe with the most controversial opinion of all, or one that I know is going to bring some fire given current developments, but I think specifically Vanilla World of Warcraft was super overrated. Okay? Especially now. And no, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not sorry. Okay, here we go. So, sorry, not sorry. Vanilla WoW, here's the thing about it. It's grindy. It's so grindy. Basically, World of Warcraft used its kind of its compelling visuals to. I brought that from me. You can go get another one. Used its compelling visuals and created a very generic RPG. I mean, the MMO environment had been there for a while, and they really didn't go anywhere that the MMO hadn't. They just kind of pictured it in their granted rich universe. But they created something that was, in its leading up to its end game, basically a slog of killing the same NPCs for random loot drops for mad stinking hours. And then in the late game, they shifted to a completely different strategy, which was you literally need a gang of people, like a city of people, to tackle some of this late game content. So it became an exercise in administrative suppression. Like not so much like, oh, I'm good at this game, I concede my own merit. Literally, no one once they reached level 16 in vanilla Warcraft could do crap other than maybe some PvP. You couldn't do anything. At that point, you were succumbed to the rigmarole of getting into a guild, of finding a day of your life you could live, literally finding a finger that you could chop off so that you could make raids every single day to try to grind out this content. Loot drops were low, and they made people fight for these things. It was intentionally overcomplex with a not terribly rewarding skill tree, where it's like, I don't know, when I want to level up, I want to feel like I can put my points somewhere meaningfully, and WoW never developed that satisfaction there. So, all this kind of comes down to the idea that it was a reskin of existing content.
That is the end of your time.
I'm good, I'm done! I didn't eat it!
That is the end of the time for Garrett. Okay. Boom. All right. So, and now, fight.
Okay. Because I'm the instigator of all the stupid fights in the show.
Clearly.
I'm going to go ahead and, you know what, I went after you last time. I'm so sorry you did.
I can still hear you.
I'm going after you this time. Oh! So, I want you to know that on the side of my Nick Lunetta argument sheet, I wrote some weeaboo shit like 6 times. Okay? I wrote I wrote it once here, then I wrote it once here. I wrote it twice under Kingdom Hearts. So there's that. But anyway, I'm going to have to disagree with you on Alpha Sapphire. Was it a remake that needed to be made? But here's what it did do. And a lot of what you tore down on it was like, yeah, no, the core mechanics were different. I think Pokemon as a developer stood, or the Pokemon franchise as a developed franchise stood up and decided. They already had Red, they already had Blue, they already had kind of their Gen 1, they already had their Gen 2, and here they tried to step out of their realm and try to experience a more narrative storytelling. They tried to tell a story more. They tried to build you up as the hero. They weren't trying to make it, nearly as much the slog and grind adventure. And here they're trying to make you the hero of the story. Sure, they took some liberties with giving you a few Pokemon, but I think that game really succeeded in making you feel like a badass within that universe.
See, I disagree on that one, because, I mean, coming off of Pokemon X and Y, which, by the way, if you beat that game, and you beat the Elite Four, and you have that big, huge, massive ceremony and shit like that, you feel proud to be a Pokemon trainer after all these fucking years.
X and Y was good.
It was. And then it comes into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it was so overly produced, like, oh my god, this is the next best thing, and it just fell short for me. And I understand the whole wanting to go over and make someone the new hero for everything, and make somebody your story. But I mean, they made that with Trainer Red in the first generation.
They did. They polished it. And I will say that objectively, Ruby Sapphire was more competitive. Like, it was better balanced. Like, the movesets worked better from a competitive multiplayer standpoint. They didn't know what they were doing in the first gen, as far as, where the competitive nations are. There's a bunch of totally broken moves in Gen 1. They fixed that in Ruby Sapphire.
See, I don't know, but I feel like they did it too much, because what they did was with the change into the third generation, they actually changed, some of the effects of some of the Pokemon was going for, and it sucked a little bit. And right there for you, bud.
Okay, so stepping it back from both of you guys. Honestly, when you posted these answers earlier, I was very confused why you made these choices, because I'm like, do people like why are these the most overrated games? Do people even like these games?
In both of our defenses, absolutely.
I'm on the Instagrams. They know I like Pokemon. My entire Explore feed is competitive Pokemon shit. I don't see anybody talking about Alpha Ruby or Mega Sapphire. I feel like people have moved on from the game. People replayed it because it's some filler to get them through X and Y and onto to Sun and Moon, and that's fine if people enjoy that, but I definitely don't feel like it got any undue hype. It was like, oh, a remake game, distraction between the games.
So overly produced when it first came out and all that shit.
Overly produced, but overrated? I don't know about that. And then Vanilla World of Warcraft, talk about not overrated because it's like so obscure now. You have to go to like special servers just to experience like this older, out of date game, which is.
Contrary, so many people like it that they're willing to bring it back from the dead. It doesn't even.
Let's talk about Legend of Zelda here. I mean, Legend of Zelda is a fantastic game, and it can get as many fucking remakes as it goddamn wants.
It was the definitive experience on 64 for a little while there. It was the adventure of a lifetime for a lot of people, and I think it was the first. Maybe they were using it as an opportunity to sell guides.
Is that the warning right there?
No, that was just an accident. But actually, I'm going to end it. So.
Okay.
That was a good fight.
I'm sorry, Garrett. I've heard enough.
That was a good fight on that one, though. I mean, hey.
That was really good. I'm going to tell you, I don't even need help on this one, so we'll go to Jackie. Was there any facts that needed checking?
There was a few facts that I just double checked, like for Steven's argument. He said that Mario came out before Ocarina of Time, and it did. Don't worry, it did. You're good. You're good. And I did a quick Google search. I typed in, is Ocarina of Time overrated, or is Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire overrated, and is World of Warcraft overrated? And the first one for Google to finish my sentence was Ocarina of Time.
Hey.
So it comes up more often.
Why are we crowdsourcing?
But if you clicked on it, it said no, it's not.
You're right.
Once again, I think the internet kind of agrees with me.
No, I'm right though.
What's up?
I was right on my totally bullshit statement that I thought.
And I did click on the articles. People were like, no, it's not overrated. Get out of here. So I did get out of there.
Well, here's the thing. This is where I'm at right now. So you guys, once again, you guys are all fantastic fighters right now. Like, giving yourself a
no one's got stabbed with a beer bottle.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Oh, you're not done.
We got more facts, you guys.
Oh no, wait.
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire has the best IV training and breeding.
Oh, that's not a fact.
And
That's not a fact.
Oh, fact checker the fact checker.
How? I don't even need to check my facts.
That's like a subjective argument, Jax.
Model break.
We are going to move on.
You come up here. You come up here. Next week, I'll see you in the ring.
Yeah, I think Jackie's gonna have to fight next time. You'll switch places. You can do fact checking.
Okay.
So, you set yourself up for that.
I want to sort it out with Jax. We'll see.
I don't know. This is week 2 for you, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
Let's make it a trilogy.
All right. Guess what? We have to move on. And this is what I'm going to say. You guys all gave really passionate, great arguments. I really love the pace of what you guys are doing. And here's the thing. I didn't hear enough from Nick on why the general... I heard a lot of why you don't like Alpha Sapphire.
I am the general population.
and they both made really strong arguments of why you were wrong. So I mean that's where we go here. And as far as vanilla World of Warcraft goes, again, Steven called you out on it. When vanilla World of Warcraft was out, it was vanilla. No one expected anything. In fact, I even personally remember people like, oh, they're making an MMO.
I literally got approached and targeted by people who were like pulling their eyelids off about this game.
Well, Steven brought up this fact. It was new. There was nothing to expect. However, Steven said that this was not it wasn't a remake, it wasn't the first of something, and that's the thing. I think like Steven called out Pokemon 2. It's like we knew there was going to be a Gen 3 remake because they already remade Generation 1 and 2. We weren't expecting anything else from there, so it wasn't hyped up enough to become an overrated thing. And it's kind of the same thing with World of Warcraft. There wasn't really, I mean, yeah, people might have been frustrated with it, but
eyelids, Rich.
there wasn't an expectation. And I think you're right. I mean, I agree with you. It wasn't good until the first, we called them expansion packs back in the day, kids, before DLC. But Steven had, in my opinion, he had the best pitch on why Ocarina of Time is overrated, and he had the best counter arguments on why you guys didn't, why you guys picked lesser things. So I'm gonna go with Steven again. Steven wins.
Killing it.
So Richie, I really love Kingdom Hearts.
Omega Alpha is nothing like Kingdom Hearts.
It was actually really close, Nick. I had pegged you as my winner until Steven came out. And, like, when he was like, okay, guys, like, that's when I was like, oh, Steven won it again.
Shit. Yeah, see, we yielded the floor to
If he had made those last couple points about why you guys were wrong, it was going to go to you, Nick. You got to be loud and proud at the end there, all right?
All right.
So it's 2, Nick, Garrett, and Nick 0. Let's move on to round 3.
Crushing it.
I just gotta say though, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is actually my favorite Pokemon game.
Oh! Okay. Talk about playing with us.
You and me for a minute. Emerald. Emerald.
I
You
didn't
could have a base.
but
It was beautiful.
Steven won.
Emerald.
Steven
By
won,
far the
and
best.
Ocarina of
By
Time is
far
one
the
of my
best.
top 5 games of like my favorite games. So just I'm letting you guys know how unbiased I'm being during this judging.
Also,
nice.
Chris won on his round of what's the best video game ever. He won with Ocarina of Time.
That means you have to have a showdown.
Also, let me take a second to say what's gonna happen when I win the next round, and that's 3 out of 5, and we're done.
Well, that just means that you no, that just means
you advance.
Yeah, you would
6 points. To
you
win.
would clinch the speed round, but they still gotta go at it, you know. Yeah. All right. So round 3. Let me get all set up here.
Yeah.
All right.
Easy. You get 2 under your belt. Let's not get cocky here.
Round
Got a third year.
3. And this time,
All right.
we are starting with you, Mr. Lunetta.
All right.
Okay, so the question is, which video game deserves a remake?
I also wrote some weeaboo shit under this one as well.
I'm asking Lunetta.
It won't go down. I'm sorry, man. Shit.
Can you repeat the question?
The question was, Nick Lunetta. Oh, jeez. Which video game deserves a remake?
You know what? I'm gonna keep it in the Pokemon universe. Go ahead, write Weeaboo Trash down, sir. Go ahead. Pokemon Coliseum for Nintendo GameCube was, I think, one of the better games in the Pokemon franchise. Talk about something that's different in the entire games. I mean, you are someone who's actually from the bad side. You are part of the villains, but you break off and you go over and you become this big hero in and of itself, going against this totally new thing going on right now. Yes. You go around with your Umbreon and your Espeon, and you're going away from Team Snatch'em. Fact check. I'm fact checking myself.
Team Snatch'em.
Snatch'em. Thank you.
Is it Team Snatch'em?
I think it's Team Snatch'em.
That's awful.
No, it's. I think it's Team Snatch'em.
Sorry.
And basically, they have this new device that captures, like, already captured Pokemon, which you know you can't do. Weeaboo Trash. Write it down. And they make it their own and darker. Snag 'em! All right, I was close.
Still really bad.
No, and basically you totally change around. You have your own plucky sidekick, like a Misty character, and you just go over and you recapture all these Pokemon that have turned evil, and you turn back to the side of good. Let me tell you, that's a good, heartwarming story there, and that's my argument.
Just like Kingdom Hearts.
And it's just like Kingdom Hearts. I'm not getting this point, guys.
Don't sell yourself short. Come on.
Actually, that was better than I thought it was going to be.
All right. Still not getting this point.
All right, let's move on to Garrett. Garrett, what game deserves a remake?
Oh, man. And I'm talking to the developers here. Borderline picking. X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Oh my god. So, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, for those of you who don't know, was a 90s Star Wars space sim that existed within, obviously the rich, the rich Star Wars video game spectrum, especially right during the beginning there. X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, I mean, I still have my floppy disk for it, and here's the weird thing about it. Mechanics-wise, it still stands up to modern Star Wars iterations for Starfighter combat. I would argue that the floppy disk I have sitting on my couch, presents a better mechanic for dogfighting in the Star Wars universe than Battlefront does in its current iteration. So here's this universe where they presented the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, a very detailed take on these classic ships. You stepped into the film of a pilot and got to experience the nuances of controlling them. And the reason it needs a remake is because this game is like 20 years old, 20 plus. And think of what that could be. Think about if Frontier, the developers of Elite Dangerous, produced an extrapolation of that. Think of what that could become when we take a modern physics engine, a modern render engine, modern game engine, modern programming, a developer staff that knows the modern nuances of combat, and sinks their teeth into the Star Wars universe. We could have something completely new and completely different, maybe open world, maybe not, but Star Wars has, and has demonstrated a number of times, has a lot of older fans that have a very, not just a tolerance, but an ingrained desire for high difficulty, very high nuanced combat. And I think that game could deliver on all of that in a way that new games can't.
Ding.
Ding him. Ding him.
By how many seconds?
Well, like 3.
All right.
That internal clock. Internal clock. It's always ticking. Always ticking.
All right. Steven?
Yeah.
What game deserves a remake?
All right, well, in the spirit of the upcoming Nintendo Switch release, which I almost missed a job interview to pre-order for, I'm going to go with Kirby Air Ride for the Nintendo GameCube is in desperate need of a remake. I've talked to numerous people about this. I think this would be one of those games that really pushes people over the edge into buying Nintendo Switch. I think it'd be a genius decision for Nintendo. I think it would really work specifically on that console, given the different play styles that are available, given the simplicity of the controls, just the turning and the A button. I think it really takes the best things about Mario Kart, like the drift dynamics, and avoid some of the pitfalls that Mario Kart falls into, like their overpowered items and things. Kirby Air Ride has like a much more fair approach to items. You never feel gypped. You never go from first place to 8th place, and that makes it just a much more like friendly gaming experience that I haven't had in this era of Mario Kart in a really long time. I think the different game modes of Kirby Air Ride were really great. I think City Trial is a great like party game just to chat with your friends while you're collecting items and stuff. And I think it really fits in with the direction a lot of Nintendo games are going. I think you could throw in Kid Icarus characters now really well because a lot of Kid Icarus games have borrowed mechanics from Kirby Air Ride. The recent Super Smash game borrowed a lot of the going around the board and collecting those kinds of power-ups. So I think it would really make sense for Nintendo. I think fans are familiar and into those kinds of game elements. And I think it's just a really simple, like really upbeat, positive, like nostalgic game for a lot of people that's been like unfairly, I guess, overlooked by Nintendo, and I know there's a lot of people that would go out and buy a Nintendo Switch just to play that with their friends.
All right.
A minute
And fight.
Okay, I'm starting the battle round this time.
Oh, all right, leave that up. Let's do it. Put it on the table.
You know, Karen, I'm not going after you. Okay, look, here's the thing, Steven. I get that.
I have to try so hard. This is bad.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from, and I know you'd like to. I know a lot of people would like to see a remake of this game.
And you love it, you weirdo.
I don't actually. I am not a fan of Kirby. I'm not.
Oh, really? I wrote really
Fact check.
trash under here.
Oh, did you have a picture of, I don't even know where I'm going with this. Anyways.
Hold his face like you're going to have a selfie with you and Kirby.
I wrote weeb trash for sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were going after the games, not after my life choices.
No, it's always after life choices. Anyway, you were trying to tear into Steven's decisions.
Yes. Here's the thing. They want to go ahead and you say you want to may have this remake out there. Why would they do that when Nintendo's already looked over this and they already have games like?
It's not that old.
It may not be. How old is it? Steven, guess.
The GameCube is like forever ago. It was barely even born.
The GameCube
No, I don't
came out
know.
in 2000.
No, but I mean, if they're already going around with games like Mario Kart and Super Mario Party, why would they go and revamp this?
They could re-release it in its current state, and it'd be fine.
Have you played a recent Mario Party game? Like, anyways, like those are a mess. People are losing. Anyways, Mario Party's trash.
You could literally take Kirby Air Ride, copy pasta it into the Nintendo Switch, and it'd be fine. It doesn't need to be remade from the ground up. There's nothing the Nintendo Switch can offer in terms of mechanics or like processing power that isn't just like, oh, it's exactly Kirby Air Ride with like a few new characters and like maybe a few new items and exactly the same game otherwise.
All right, Garrett, why shouldn't people want a Pokemon Coliseum remake?
You son of a bitch.
Oh man,
I have to ask.
It's kind of the same argument almost. It's like what's there to expand on? The Pokemon universe, which I do enjoy, is very guilty of exploring literally the same tropes over and over and over and over again. So any remake that the Pokemon universe offers is going to be just a small change on that one. And again, what makes a remake? Sure, it is entirely fair that we could see Pokemon Coliseum in 4K glory, in like crazy rendered, like cool physics engine glory. But like, what would be offered in terms of gameplay differences? I don't know, not a whole lot. RPG mechanics haven't developed a whole lot, and Pokemon Coliseum in its original iteration, to your credit, was very good. It was very thorough. I don't know that a remake would have a lot to offer in terms of like an expanded universe.
Well, and I feel like now that we see the 3D models of the Pokemon like native to our Pokemon games on our 3DS, like who cares if you plug it into a console and then your Charizard is like moving as a 3D model because we see it all the time.
Right, we can get some more movement and whatnot. Like, is that a remake?
Okay, Nick, why should people not want a Kirby's Air Ride remake?
They already talked so much shit about that.
No, you're talking to Steven on why he's wrong.
Steven, I just think you're wrong. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
No, I don't feel like it's like your argument was basically saying there's gonna be people who are gonna want to come out for it, and I don't think that if they already have something that's good and it's great and it's building and it still has a franchise, they're not gonna go back and try and revamp something that doesn't necessarily need to come back.
I gave you guys a little bit extra since you're fighting me with the bell here a little bit, but no.
Me.
Just you. Just you.
I don't think anyone said anything about whatever game.
Yeah,
old man.
I didn't hear you guys spring out of the. In fact,
that's what I thought you were gonna have.
I was waiting for you guys to just say something about the X-Wing, and it never came.
Can we say something?
Steven, I'm gonna give you 20 seconds to tell Garrett why he's wrong on that.
You know what? I'm not even gonna interrupt you.
All right, thank you. I'm not even.
Can I join in?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so first of all, I feel like there's plenty of dogfighting games out, especially right now, and I feel like with the resurgence of that genre, with like games like Star Citizen and all this shit that my roommate plays on his PS4 that I don't know what it's called. I feel like as that resurgence happens, if Star Wars starts developing that game, at that point it's going to be like redundant to all those games. And then I also think that there's been plenty of dogfighting in like the recent Battlefront.
Nick
is that.
Let's give Nick
so we don't need it.
20 seconds.
I just feel like revamping a game that you have on a ROM, it really doesn't need to have that time spent. I mean, that's going to take hours. No, that's going to take years and years of development. They could be working on a new game. I mean, the franchise is moving forward. I don't know. I guess I'm not a revamp fan.
I don't know. Do you want me to answer those back?
Let's give Garrett 20 seconds to rebuttal.
Okay.
Why are they wrong about what they just said?
So to answer your question, there's a ton of new Star Wars content that we can extrapolate on, and battles that we can revisit that weren't an option for the original series that could be revisited in a beautiful new engine. To your answer, yes, Star Citizen is not out, and a lot of the games have revisited those sort of mechanics, but never Star Wars. Never Star Wars. That's an extremely expanded on universe, and Battlefront, I argue, doesn't do a good job.
Woo! All right, there was a lot said during this. This is probably my favorite round, actually. So.
That was dope! High five.
All right.
Take it.
Woo! I could see it in your guys' eyes. You're like, wait, I want to say something to Garrett. So I give you the extra time there to say something.
No, that's good.
However,
sometimes someone does go on. I might have screwed myself, but
let's take the fact cam, Jared. Briefly, who do you think did the best?
You got like a piece of popcorn on your head, bro.
Oh,
there you go.
I do.
Now it's on your shirt.
Oh no. This is it's a fuzz.
Anyways,
Anyways, so
immaculate.
Regardless of the
beauty incarnate.
She is.
Yeah, we're not talking about you.
No. Thanks. So in the discussion, even though you gave everybody 40 seconds in order to tear down Garrett's argument, I think by far he picked the one that was the oldest, was the best made, and the most deserving of a remake because of how far EA and Origin missed the mark on their Star Wars Battlefront remake. Oh, yeah. I think by far the one that is most deserving of coming back is Garrett's.
Right, but based on the arguments, do you think that Garrett's argued the best?
Garrett's by far.
Okay.
He pointed out all of the mechanics of the game that should be brought back into a graphics landscape of what we have today.
Okay. Jackie, anything that was needed to be fact?
Yeah. The X-Wing versus TIE Fighter came out April 30th, 1997, so almost exactly 20 years. Boom. And I found this fun tidbit of information that game developer Anthony Reed revealed in 2016 that LucasArts and Transmission Games were very close to creating a remake to X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, but ultimately disbanded Transmission Games.
Because Garrett loses, it's a terrible choice.
All right. And then
Okay.
So here's the thing. Yeah. This time, Steven, you didn't have it.
Love Kirby era.
This time you were the one
And a lot
where
of people do online too.
I heard a lot of
The comments are gonna give you it after this.
Of course, but from just
Now they can
based on your
I
arguments,
think a lot of criticism just with the concept of the show.
based on your arguments, I felt like you got points for me for your passion on it. But again, I didn't hear enough of why Kirby's Air Ride would benefit everyone. I heard that a little bit more from Nick on Pokemon Coliseum. However, you were outshined by Garrett because he had a lot of fantastic reasons why X-Wing needs to come back. So Garrett gets the point.
Yeah, Kirby Air Ride is my Kingdom Hearts.
Kirby Air Ride is
All right, so that's 1 point for
But
Garrett.
Rich, he really loves Kirby.
Kirby grows and develops as a young man.
So it's 1-2-0 right now, and I just wanted to let you all know that. Again, I didn't pick Pokemon Coliseum, guys, for all you Pokemon fans, but remember, I have to be the unbiased judge. I love Pokemon, alright?
I'm a terrible arguer.
I love Pokemon,
But you goddamn pretty.
the best game of last year
Man.
was Overwatch. So,
Yeah, I agree.
nobody's arguing Overwatch today, so, we're good.
Yeah, we are. Wait for it.
I just feel like wearing a hat now.
I have the notes. It might come up.
Alright, so, you're wearing a Star Wars hat.
I am.
And you argued Star Wars. Good for you.
Yeah.
Alright, we are going to move on.
There we go.
Nick, this is round 4. You will have to win both round 4 and 5 to get into the speed round at this point. But hey,
just wants to
don't.
judge.
So I'm just saying, I don't want you to be like, oh well, I'm gonna lose this one anyway. Definitely give it your all here. And you know what? If you lose today, then you've been a pleasure on the show. So just,
Thank you.
Why are you already grooming him to lose?
I see you feeling bad over there. I want you to feel good about this.
I'm good, dude.
Look how big that bottle is. He's fine.
All right.
I don't even drink beer.
No.
All right. This is round 4, which means it starts back with Garrett again. Garrett, what is, in your opinion, the best fighting game?
Oh, my opinion?
Yeah.
This is why you're.
So we actually talk about our opinions.
Okay, on the show?
Like in general?
Okay. Well, in that case, Mortal Kombat 2. And here's why. Mortal Kombat 2, and it wasn't the first fighting game. It wasn't the last, and even in recent light, of the recent fact that the Mortal Kombat franchise is kind of struggling to find its identity right now. Mortal Kombat 2, as a game, made fighting games cool in a way that other games never really have even captured. Mortal Kombat, I mean, like, what's a word we always say in all kinds of games? Fatality. Like, oh wow, nice fatality. That's good. Ooh, that's a cool fatality move.
Don't say that in other games.
Oh
Hey,
man,
girl, nice fatality.
you see it as it's literally become a verb within a lot of gaming circles that are not fighting games at all. And that was a concept christened by Mortal Kombat 1 and perfected in Mortal Kombat 2. It took, and furthermore, the Mortal Kombat spectrum, but really Mortal Kombat 2, really wrested fighting games out of that cartoony spectrum. Street Fighter had come in, and a whole bunch of other games had come in, and kind of established what a fighting game looks like, what the mechanics are, kind of the basics 1 and 2, and a lot of them set a very high skill threshold. Mortal Kombat took that down to earth a little bit and just made it brutal. It made it the kind of thing that newscasters were like, oh my god, Mortal Kombat ruining our youth. And that right there was the biggest publicity for fighting games that any game has ever seen. It made it taboo. It made it the forbidden fruit. It made it something that was cool in the minds of teenagers and in the minds of preteens, etc., and brought it to light in a new respect. But that being said, it really began to. That was the takeoff moment for a lot of the fighting game units, and the brutality of it contributed to the birth of the franchise.
All right.
Long
That's it
minutes.
for Garrett.
You got these a long 2 minutes.
Before we go on to Steven, can I get a fact check on which game started Fatality as a popular?
I don't even know.
I looked it up.
What the difference between
I looked it up.
It was. I can.
I looked it up.
She can look it up, but I can tell you now. It was Mortal Kombat.
I know, but I just want to see what Jackie finds. All right.
So what it says?
Look on the Wikipedia.
No, I don't disagree. I just want to see if Fatality became this huge thing in other games because that was like his main argument at the beginning. So I just want to fact check. That's my job.
Yeah.
That's my job. All right.
Fact checked.
All right.
He's right.
Oh well, you're supposed to say it until after the round, but he's right.
I'm sorry.
But hey, he's right. Now we know he's right. All right. Moving on to Steven. Steven, what is the best fighting game?
All right. The best fighting game of all time, just giving a little bit of love to the Legend of Zelda series, is going to be Soul Calibur 2 featuring Link as the cameo character. I think Soul Calibur 2... I'm sorry. I think Soul Calibur 2 is the greatest fighting game of all time for 2 reasons. One, I think it has a good competitive scene. It has good competitive balanced characters, more so than the later Soul Caliburs. And I think, unlike Mortal Kombat, unlike a lot of other fighting games, it is more accessible for casual players. I think a lot of fighting games fall into the trap of you can get people stuck in these combos where they're stuck in the air, and if you're not like competitive with your fighting game, then you're not gonna know, and you're just smashing buttons, you're not gonna know how to counter out of there. Soul Calibur 2, I think, with the weapon systems, does a lot to discourage people mashing buttons, which is a huge problem in fighting games, and people from just getting people stuck in these terrible combos that if you're not a competitive player, you're not gonna know how to get out of. I think also Soul Calibur 2 has the most interesting characters. I think because of that weapons-based combat system, you don't have just like the same kind of like ninja dude over and over again in like different color schemes, punching people and like ripping out their spines. You have like distance characters, and you have more up-close combat characters. You have more slower characters, so I think it just offers a lot more diversity, a lot more accessibility than a lot of other fighting games do. In as casual play and as competitive play.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's it?
That's it.
All right. We don't have Derek left, so we don't know if that's 2 minutes or not, but... Okay. Moving on to Nick. Nick, tell us, what is the best fighting game?
Guys, I'm going to go with Tekken 3. When I think about fighting games, I always think back to whenever you're in like the arcade, and there's always a Tekken machine right there, usually next to the Soul Calibur machine. I'll give you that. But no, I mean, this is just the epitome of an actual fighting game. You just go at it, and there's it's a lot of the same characters. I'll grant it that, but they're good, solid characters that just they stick the same. They're a burr.
That'll give you points in this channel.
No, and it doesn't really focus so much on like different building on weapons, building on armors, building on things like that. You have basically the same skins, and it's just down to what it actually is, and it's just fighting. And I'm so getting slotted this one, and that's my argument.
Wow!
Fuck!
Are you sure you got another minute?
This is your lunch round.
I have
Come on,
literally,
rally.
literally nothing.
Rally,
I'm
bro.
so shit at this.
Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu.
He stabs himself and stabs the other kid.
That's me.
The brutality of the animations, man.
No. Garrett, argue for me. Tekken 3, go.
Tekken 3's awful. I win.
It's in my notes, Bird. All right.
That's the key word, right?
All right. Jeez. All right. Let's fight. Let's fight it out, guys.
All right, I'm gonna go first because I haven't gone first yet.
Go ahead.
I don't really have anything to say, but I just wanted to jump on it.
You did it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait. Yep.
So I don't know. Let me just clarify, like your guys' arguments. A lot of it was about fighting games should be violent, apparently, and so Mortal Kombat is the most violent, so it wins. Not following that logic, and then the fighting game is a fighting game, so I'm not following that logic either. So I'm already doing pretty good.
I feel like here's the thing is. I almost feel like I have more love for Tekken than you might.
I think you do.
You didn't
stole Soul Calibur from me.
I know, right? Soul Calibur is a great game, but I firmly disagree with the idea that Soul Calibur 2 is well balanced. I don't think Soul Calibur 2 held up well in terms of its. As somebody who has about 60+ hours invested in Soul Calibur 2, the competitive gap between Helix and Cassandra and literally anybody else is noticeable.
Actually, real quick, jumping on that real quick, your big argument was talking about dealing with characters that are button mash and all that stuff. You've got the biggest button masher in the entire fighting game genre, Helix.
Helix is the button masher to end all.
It's like, my God, I mean, it's just like, hey, I'm just gonna keep into this. Oh yeah, I got real skills. I know.
I won arcade in Soul Calibur 2 by literally just pressing square one.
Hey, dude, how'd you do that special move of Helix? Oh, I don't know, dude. I'm just button mashing.
He's the same thing where he goes, and it stuns him. It's stupid.
At the very least, though, at least for spamming characters like that, there are counters. Like, you could do Ivy, you can keep it long range, like, you can figure it out.
Okay, first off, no one's picking Ivy.
The boop physics dedicated to Ivy. Half the disk space on that game.
If you want to be good at skill like Soul Calibur 2. Okay. If you want to be good at Soul Calibur 2, you like the first entry level is like, how do I beat Helix? Okay, then how do I beat Cassandra? Okay, now I can play the game.
Yeah, and also on a real note, before Richie dings the bell, you missed the thing by not going to Soul Calibur 3. That game was so much better than 2 with character customization.
Not have
I totally disagree. I think a lot of my. Oh wait, he's done.
While I get Derek's opinion, Jackie, can you fact check? One of the things that Steven said was that Yoda was in. No, it's not Yoda. No, he said that Link was in Soul Calibur 2. Could you? I know he was on the GameCube. Could you just fact check that?
Yeah, he was in the GameCube. We're talking about the GameCube.
Where else would he be?
What else are we talking about?
Didn't say Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube.
Is there another Soul Calibur 2?
That's what I'm gonna have for fact check.
What console?
That may or may not be.
Well, they had arcade versions.
That's a weird thing to hold against him.
That's
a weird thing to hold against him.
Link was a guest character in Soul Calibur 2.
That was on the GameCube, but I mean,
and was it only on the GameCube?
Yeah.
No, they had arcade. No. They had arcade versions of Soul Calibur.
I mean, yeah, they had arcade. He was in the arcade versions too.
Was he?
I don't know. Somehow, yeah.
Because that was an unlockable.
It was not very important to my argument. That was me during
so not central to his argument.
I think that's just
I just want to know, Derek, what's your opinion?
See, I go 2 times for my brother. I go 2 times for Garrett. Nick, I love you. But you're not bringing it tonight. You're not bringing it tonight.
He is damn
so
attractive.
I'll give him that.
Okay, that's what I figured as much.
But I will say.
Then why did you need me to look it up?
That's why you're there.
Garrett by far brought the better arguments.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have to go with Garrett's.
Oh, okay.
I'm another teammate. I
Your opinion is
I'm voting for you.
We're at war.
He called me attractive. I can vote for him.
I'm with Garrett on this one. I'm with Garrett on this one.
That's very interesting.
That means Rich wasn't.
Guess we're not.
That means Rich was.
Okay. The funny thing, I just wanted to make sure. I know. Here's the thing. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. I only heard you say that Link was in the game. I didn't hear you say it was only on the GameCube. But, however, that wasn't enough to hold against you because. Just one second. Let me just say my piece about that. I just wanted to know. I'm not holding it against you. I'm just saying.
That's fine.
It's fine. I just
hold it against.
We have to check facts because that's why we have fact checking. Anyways, Jackie, what else did you find?
All right, so I looked up a couple lists of the top fighting games of all time, and Smash Brothers was like the #1.
I didn't think that counted.
I was very surprised that nobody picked Smash Bros. I was also surprised you guys didn't pick the actual best fighting game, which is Super Street Fighter 2.
But
because
Hey, Rich.
Richie, the 4th contestant.
Richie with the back check.
So, closer than the other arguments, Street Fighter came in closer. But the closest one to the top of the list on all of the on the lists was Mortal Kombat.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, that's not true. That's impossible. No.
It's so interesting how this figure out.
You believe it to be true.
Personally,
does anybody else enjoy the notion that this was the game that we all bought behind our parents' back? This was the first big secret that we had as kids. was you ripping out Johnny Cage's heart.
I didn't like violence when I was younger because I was a healthy young
I was
man.
hiding it.
I really liked Kingdom Hearts.
He played Kingdom Hearts. He was playing Kingdom Hearts last week.
It's true.
He plays Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, actively.
All right, here's the thing. Derek said, Garrett, the facts lead towards Garrett. However, I gotta go with Steven again on this one. That's a surprise. The point goes to Steven. And I'll tell you why.
Wait a minute.
No.
Does that mean that if I
That's
win
right.
the next one...
That means that Garrett has 1 point if you win this point, Nick.
Ready.
It's a sudden death between the two of you, but Steven has clinched the speed round, so Steven is going to the speed round no matter what at this point. And
me
so,
the clincher.
Yeah. And so, Steven, you can absolutely not even care on question 5.
I care though.
Oh, you care.
Personally.
But I mean, just saying like.
Oh yeah, actually, we have a lot to say about question 5.
At this point,
I'm ready
losing,
for
if
question
you
5.
lost round 5, it doesn't matter.
It's empty.
You know, it would only give you another point in the speed round, you know? Like, so,
I want it.
Nick, you're gonna want to win this round, okay?
Okay. I think I got
Just
this
saying,
one.
I'm the
Too
judge.
bad you picked some
I
weird
got-
trash for the fifth round.
Okay. I don't want to hear it. I know what your pick was. I don't want to hear it.
I wrote it in cursive and in
We
level
get to know each other's pick ahead of time. Of course you know it.
Exactly.
All right. I was like gonna knock it off the table. Round 5. This is the final round. That was not an invite for everyone else to join in.
Yeah, it was.
All right.
What is final countdown? For everybody else to join in.
I'm just being an asshole. All right. So, Steven.
I'm being an asshole. Brr.
That's not the greatest way to start. All right.
This is out of the fucking game.
Oh, jeez. Hi guys, welcome to the Rich Albert stand. All right,
All
Steven,
over. Fuck.
who is the best video game developer?
I don't know. You said it twice. It made me nervous. But,
Developer.
I'm
Developer
gonna.
of developers.
I'm gonna
Their
go.
parents.
Are we starting? Can I start?
Start the timer. Start the timer.
All right. So the best video game developer of all time is going to be my homeboy Blizzard. With recent titles such as Overwatch, the most popular best game of all time, World of Warcraft, which has endured with such a huge fan base for longer than any game on Earth. I probably look terrible in that. And then... and then Hearthstone, which is an incredible game, which really brought them over into like a more casual but also like competitive scene. I really appreciate that balance in games. I think that's really important today because of the broad audience that they have. I think Blizzard, more than any other, I think their approach to games is really unique and really important because they approach games not as just like an expendable one-time experience. They view the game kind of as you would view like a board game that you have in your house, where you're going to come back to that game over and over again and experience it in several different ways, and every time it's going to feel different because it's a social experience. And I really appreciate that with Blizzard, the way they've been able to keep WoW fresh for like all these years without like massively rehauling the graphics or anything like that. The way they were able to totally redefine like the MOBA team fighter experience with Overwatch and with Heroes of the Storm. I think they're unique because they don't always go after like being the first person to do a thing, but they just so incredibly blow all the other developers' attempts at a genre like out of the water. That I think, and I just think they're like an ethical company. The diversity in their games is really amping up, like especially in recent years, like with Overwatch. And I love all of their games. and he's a grown boy and he grows up.
Way to loop that back, you know.
But I really like Kingdom Hearts.
All right, Nick.
Is your favorite developer Kingdom Hearts?
Close.
You know, close.
So Nick, tell us, who's the best video game developer, dude?
See, that laugh is just like, you know, you're not going to win this. But, you know.
Disney Interactive.
Hey, you know what? I know you're a developer, and they deserve you to come out swinging on this.
Fight
I
for
need
them.
you to defend them with your
Fight
life.
for Sora.
Yeah, fight for
He
Sora.
needs you.
Keep purifying the kingdom.
Hey, let's hear Nick say it.
I'm enjoying this, I'm just saying. I picked Square. Let me tell you, Square, let's talk about Final Fantasy, the entire franchise. There's Kingdom Hearts, the Dot Hack series.
Is there?
The Dot Hack series. The one thing that Square really brings around, besides overall story, it's just the worlds that they create. They create these big, huge CG, very. They bring very much so these real worlds back to life. Not back to life. They bring them to life, and they make them. See, I'm in my head now. And they. Yeah, I know, weeaboo trash.
I'm here. I don't want to hurt your feelings anymore.
I do.
Give Nick an extra 10 seconds.
No.
Do it for Sora, man. Do it for Sora.
They just.
What do they create? Why do you enjoy it?
I enjoy these games because they create these wonderful worlds and journeys that you can go on. And they're filled with these great quests that you always think about, whether you're, no matter what character you are. And fuck you, Rich.
I didn't say anything.
I was feeling it for a second there. I was really there. Okay, keep going. You're onto something. You got it.
No, they just they really want you to connect with the characters that are in the main point of the games. They want to bring in every single section of the story, and they make sure that you don't have any questions about what's going on. And then when it comes to Final Fantasy, they have like 15 games up to make sure you really don't have the story going along there. And that's all I got. I'm throwing in the towel.
I'm shielding Nick against your judgment.
Oh, jeez.
All the judgment. I will never be asked to come back.
Or all the time because you're dope. I don't know.
Yeah, on the contrary, you definitely have to come back now.
You are gonna go in the hood now.
You're not
Nick in the hood,
but you're also killing it. So that's dope. All right.
I'm gonna be hated by all of you.
Guys, Nick is an awesome dude, alright?
Everyone wants to root for the underdog.
Just
like Sora in Kingdom Hearts.
Have you seen the Rich Alvarez comment section? Do you know how many Square fans are going to come to rally to your
They're like, wow, this guy sucks.
You guys, if this was musical theater fights, this guy right here.
Oh, dude, done. Like, shit.
Unfortunately, nobody wants to watch musical theater fights.
A lot of people do, Rich. A lot of people do.
You might be onto something there with the market share there.
Like, maybe we'll do a special.
The Little Mermaid level in Kingdom Hearts was a lot like a musical.
Unfortunately,
sir, I will not throw away my shot.
So, let's go on to Garrett. Garrett, who is the best video game developer?
Valve.
Valve.
Easy.
And
Here's the thing about Valve that makes them different in a way that kind of transcends a lot of other video game developers. Because I have to admit, I have a soft spot for Blizzard, but there's Valve that does something that so many other games and game developers, etc., the whole spectrum don't do. Valve redefines something when they step into the ring. All their games are solid. Top, basically you've got top Metacritic ratings, and they're constantly innovative. Their replayability is very, very high, and they set the stage for a lot of games. Team Fortress to Overwatch being the easy current example, Half-Life to Counter-Strike being another example. The list can go on, but they go so much further beyond that. They redefined the way the games are sold, distributed, created, every single thing about the process. Steam came out, and just immediately within its launch, the whole entire industry was changed. Because before this, you would go to a store, a GameStop, a Target or something, and you would see games on a shelf, and that was super normal. Then boom, one day Steam came out and everything changed. All of a sudden it was weird to see games on a shelf. All of a sudden those little ragtime production studios that couldn't afford the big budget production, putting a cardboard, makeshift game on their shelf with a rendered CD and a rendered case and a game manual, all this stuff. All those people who couldn't afford the big budget productions were in the game. Furthermore, they went out to basically invent the Source engine, which they just threw out to developers. And there's been tons of games that have developed directly off of the flexibility of the LUA programming language. And all of this comes around full circle to be an argument that Valve is redefining the game industry with every step they take. And sure, there's so many good game developers out there. There's so many, but at the end of the day, how we are playing games whether it's in VR, or whether it's in the next step of kind of our immersion experience, how we are playing games, not what games we are playing, but how we are playing games is going to be defined 20 years from now by Valve more so than any other developer.
Ding 'em.
Time. What was that?
I gave him an extra 3.
Disqualified.
I gave him an extra 3 because it was beautiful.
All right, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Fight.
I'm coming for you, Garrett.
All
Okay.
right, bring it on! Bring it on! Let's do this!
I actually have a point this time. Okay. Speed round judge
Spike.
He's prepared.
It says speed round judge number 2.
He's giving up.
Fight.
All right.
You know, I wanted to go after Nick. No.
Well, let me.
No, you guys.
Let him just be. And then.
Okay, what is this?
Oh, that's Valve.
What point were you trying to make by drawing a bald dude with a flower?
I don't know. I was just.
I
got
the guy
bored.
with the pipes.
I got bored while you were talking. You're saying the same thing.
All right, I'm not going to interrupt anymore.
Okay, so I'm gonna say I agree. No, I agree. Like I got inspired too because Valve is like the Elon Musk, like the Tesla of the gaming community. But to that point, as a developer, it is questionable whether or not they're even really developing video games anymore. When you in the recent discussions with Gabe Newell, all that dude was talking about was VR and Steam as a platform and like everything about video games. He's like, we just take video games as like this really organic process where like maybe we'll all sit in our little movable desks and maybe we'll think about a video game and then maybe we'll make it and we probably won't. We're gonna sell you the HTC Vive and all of the VR headsets that you need.
Vive is amazing, mind you.
I mean, anyways, it's not a video game, so they don't win as a developer because like they don't even make games anymore.
But what's a developer? The definition of a developer transcends so much beyond
time and
like,
space.
We push a game out every so often, and it's X amount good. But like Valve is going beyond to enable other developers, to enable the game creation process as a whole to grow beyond our wildest imagination.
But their own merits as a developer, like do not hold your breath for the next Valve game because it is not happening. I have no faith in them as a developer anymore at all.
It will be good and ready, it will be polished, and it will come with a revolutionary engine that affects the game industry for the next decade.
And we will be dead.
Well, I gotta, and I gotta admit,
but they'll have our consciences uploaded to
right, exactly.
So
Well,
it won't
VR,
matter.
so it doesn't matter. And I gotta admit, I'm also a bit of a Blizzard fanboy, but I gotta also come back on the idea that Blizzard is a bit of a niche audience. Blizzard really caters to like, oh, we got Blizzard a long time ago carved out like its fan base. Like this is the Blizzard fandom, and
then they broke through it with Overwatch, which appealed to Team Fortress 2, which appealed to casual gamers, kind of like myself, who are highly intimidated by online competitive games, and now that is like the only video game that I
doesn't
play.
Exist in a world where Team Fortress didn't exist first. I think Overwatch is objectively a better game.
Yeah,
but Team Fortress,
but it's not a
had to be
ripoff.
there.
So all video games are like that. You have to have a video game to make a video game.
But that class-based multiplayer dynamic, that was a Valve trademark. That was something that Valve pushed out. That was something that came out of the Valve sort of digested contract, as was Half-Life to the to the argument of Counter-Strike.
And it was something they released and then left there and ignored and produced no more like tangible content for other than hats.
The TF2 was good.
Steven, I need one more. Why is Blizzard better than Valve?
I'm gonna say Blizzard's better than.
Yes, for one.
I'm gonna say Blizzard is a better video game developer than Valve because they spend all their time and energy developing their video games as great experiences for their players, rather than making content and interfaces and all these things that are not video games.
And then Garrett gets 10 seconds to explain why. Just tell me straight up, why is Valve the better developer?
Get you on that technicality.
The better developer.
10 seconds. Start now.
Okay. Better developer because every single time they push out a game, it's it redefines what they're doing. Not to mention, developer transcends just I can create video games, but enable the video game industry to grow as a whole.
Okay. That's it.
Whatever, nothing else to be said.
I don't need your 0.5 seconds.
Also, Nick Lunetta, you're just gorgeous.
Speed round judge number 2.
Watch him win because we didn't attack him.
Nick, you're gonna have to come back.
I wrote you shit.
No, I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna come back fighting. Let me tell you.
All right.
Did we just give up on? Does he win because we give up on attacking him?
No.
I think so.
Because that would be the greatest twist. Be like, well, you guys brought some good arguments against each other.
How about like, is there a taller bonus? Because I'm the tallest person.
No, because I love Nick, but if he really wanted to win this round, he would have kept attacking it. And I think you hilariously gave up.
You hilariously gave up.
But here's the thing. So Garrett, sorry for getting a little sassy. I just wanted to hear more because I heard all these great points on why same thing. Why Valve was a great publisher, but not necessarily a great developer. But I think your summary basically summed it all up. And also you had some great counter arguments on why the games that your company developed inspired the games that Blizzard developed. However, Steven also had some great, fantastic points about Blizzard coming right back with their own stuff, and Blizzard kind of Wow. Hi.
Right there, man. You just gotta finish.
He was telling how Blizzard makes great games. All right, so
people who play them, and it's great.
Obviously, it's between you two. Nick was kind of not close.
No.
All right, Derek, what's your opinion? Who had it?
It had to be Garrett. When he brought up the one point that made Blizzard in its current stance follow the Valve train, Team Fortress 2, that's where he won it for me. Because that was the one point that proved that Valve and the Steam platform created this developer field where people could come out and give all their games. As a developer, your ultimate goal is to allow other people to develop games. And they did that in the Source platform. They did that in setting the framework of Team Fortress 2. Which Overwatch, I love Overwatch. I play it all the time.
You love it.
I love Overwatch.
He loves Overwatch.
But
I love Overwatch.
But I loved Team Fortress 2, and Team Fortress 2 is a clear precursor to that. So,
Excellent. Jackie, give me facts.
Oh man, so it's so tough to get through these top 10 articles because now they just go to like either it's a video or you have to click next.
Oh, like a slideshow?
yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
slideshows.
can we take a small break for you to show off your cat scratches?
She was attacked by the cat.
Oh! Which cat? The adoptee or the tenant?
Well, this one is the tenant,
Okay.
and this one is the adoptee.
Okay.
So
one
we've
on each
got-
arm.
yeah.
Cats! Wow.
That's a cat.
Jackie, would you say there's kind of a toss-up between these two companies?
Actually, so the articles that I did
You take a
sift
stand
through,
Jax?
Valve came the closest on the articles. Then came Square, and then came Blizzard. But number one was mostly Nintendo, except for one article by some Naughty Dog trash. So.
If Laura was here, she would flip the table and come after you.
No, Naughty Dog's great, but like Nintendo, Naughty Dog.
Like, what are you doing?
What have you done?
All right, before I
I
jump
agree
this
it's not a very
round.
Nintendo. That being said, I love Naughty Dog. I love the work.
Wait, did you just say Contendo instead of Contender?
Nintendo! All right, guys. Before I judge this round, what? Oh, okay. Sorry. Continue.
Also, Blizzard and Square did not give Jax a cease and desist for her Perler beat art.
Oh.
It was Valve. So.
Wow.
I know, rude, right? Rude.
Is Valve gonna go and make their own Perler beat art and sell it
Yeah.
on their store? I don't think so.
Yeah, are they gonna start doing Perler beat art on their store? No. That's right,
Yeah,
Steven.
they gotta carve out.
You know, an open field for Perl or B developers, right?
Okay. Good. Okay. Here we go. So before I announce who the winner of this round is, I just want to say that Nintendo actually has a fantastic body of development work. I would not argue that they were the best developer, but I would definitely have counted them in the top 5.
You know, I thought about arguing them, but I didn't play a lot of Nintendo games coming up, and I kind of felt like that would be sucking your dick, so it was like...
Alright, yeah, Mario won every time.
And there's just so many Nintendo games, it would be so easy to just be like, well, remember this?
Well, remember that trash they developed that one time, and we'd have to be like, oh yeah, they did that.
Remember,
Like,
Nintendo
there's
was
no other
essentially
counter
creating the
argument.
modern home market. Alright. Alright, guys. And the other thing I want to say is, oh man, Nick, you gave up, and I love you. You're hilarious. But I wish I could have just like entered your body for this round. Because if this was me playing, and one of these days I will get a chance to go in.
I hope I get to lose you. I hope I get to fight, destroy me.
I think I probably would have argued. I would have argued either Square or Bethesda, and I think that. No, I would have argued Square or Bethesda for sure. Probably leaning towards Square. Man, I really wish. Oh, and you didn't even talk about Chrono Trigger and
I forgot about Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, which is my favorite game of all time, and the early Final Fantasy VI, and people like 7, but 6, and Final Fantasy 8. Not just Kingdom Hearts.
Square Enix is the developer that is so into stories. So into character development, so into fleshing out their crazy universes.
Nick dropped the ball,
dude. That they will throw every other element of game development onto the table.
Vagrant
to make sure that story is good.
Brave Fencer Musashi.
Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Did they make Life is Strange?
Yeah, they did.
Life is Strange.
Oh my god.
I think these are all reasons why I win.
Life is Strange as a publisher, though. They didn't develop Life is Strange. So to be fair, they didn't develop Life is Strange.
Life is Strange is very good.
But it is from the company. Man, I could have gone for days on why Square is the best developer. But tag team. Unfortunately, I'm the judge, and that wouldn't work. But guess what? Tag teaming video game fights is going to be a thing somewhere down the line. Not soon, but somewhere down the line.
You're committing to so much in this episode.
Okay, I wanted to have some fun with this round, and I wanted to get all that out there. Man,
that was a good round.
And also Bethesda, I love them.
Good job, guys.
But they really only make 2 games. But they make 2 awesome games.
I wrote weeaboo shit under this one as well.
Oh yay!
All right,
consistent.
It was between Garrett and Steven. Sorry, Nick. Oh, surprise!
This is an outrage.
Steven and Garrett, you guys both said a lot of great stuff.
Hey.
Ultimately, though, I gotta give it to Garrett this time. Point goes to Garrett because
you need more points.
I mean, you guys are both going to the speed round now. So ultimately,
Wait, whoa, what? But I really like Kingdom Hearts.
All right,
That's the last time I'll
Are you
do it,
not
I
listening?
swear.
He really likes Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, gee, I didn't know. All right. All right.
I really say that, I swear. I will never say it
We
again.
need to play him out.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts song.
Yes, that helps them.
Where's my keyboard? Where's my keyboard? I get the theme right now, man. We don't own that song. So we got all right. I just want to say, so Garrett wins round 5, and that is it for the regular rounds. I could go. I think basically Derek said everything I was thinking too about that, so I don't need to repeat everything. But good job, Garrett.
I appreciate it.
I'd like to say I gave you a run for your money, but I really didn't.
You could have.
All right.
If you brought out the
Speed round. A reminder that the way that the speed round works is I'm going to ask 5 questions. Whoever reaches 5 points first. Steven has 3. Garrett has 2. Whoever reaches 5 points first is the winner.
So, do you want me to switch with Nick so you guys can be super, Judas in the
No, that's all right. I don't want to sit next to
got
Nick.
your questions. No. Come on, have you
All right. You will have, so if I'm going to ask you a question, some of these questions have, options, and some of them you just have to say something. But you must wait until I'm completely done asking before you shout out your answer. Whoever shouts out their answer first, you get that answer. And then the other person must pick something else. If it's multiple choice, the other person must go with the
I
other
think I look
option.
over, I can see the questions right now, so please.
What's the indication that you're done talking?
Honest.
I will ring the bell. How about I ring the bell? That'll probably make it good. All right. So here's what happens. So
good luck.
You each get 20 seconds to pitch your answer, and then you'll have 10 seconds to rebuttal the other person. You get it?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Speed round. All right. Question number 1. I'm gonna ask you see 2 games at the bargain bin at GameStop. Which do you buy? Halo Wars or Metal Gear Rising?
Oh, Halo Wars.
Okay, Metal Gear Rising.
All right, I hear Halo Wars from Garrett. Garrett, you have 20 seconds.
Halo Wars went so far to tell an additional and very important element of the rich Halo story. Not to mention, it was a worthwhile RTS title, and furthermore, it was an RTS title that was optimized for console, which has previously been a totally untouchable market.
Okay.
My turn?
Oh, hold on. Let's wait for time to restart. Okay.
My turn?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm definitely gonna rebuttal the fact that that was optimized for console because I'm pretty damn sure that there's like 20 games for iPad and iOS now that are like Halo Wars, but like with microtransactions and crap. You can look that up. And then Metal Gear Rising, I'm gonna say, I don't know. Metal Gear's great. I haven't played that one. Probably why it's in the bargain bin, but Metal Gear is great.
Okay, Garrett, 10 seconds rebuttal starting. Okay.
Metal Gear Revengeance or Metal Gear Rising was cool, but like it didn't do anything new. Whereas like I firmly restate that like Halo Wars did something different to the fact that it.
Oh, 10 seconds. Steven, 10 seconds.
Everyone hates Halo Wars. Any Halo fan doesn't like Halo Wars because it's not a Halo game. So
Except Halo's in the title.
Okay. Nick, based on the arguments, I have to ask you first now because you are, after all, speed round judge number 2.
Wow. What a nice name tag you've constructed for yourself.
So, Nick, based on the arguments, not opinion, who had the best arguments?
Based on arguments, I have to give it to Garrett because there was actual facts there, not just Halo War sucks.
Derek?
Garrett got it.
Jackie?
Any facts?
I was trying to look up the microtransaction thing. It's just the speed rounds go too fast that it's hard to.
You know, I think during speed rounds, just your opinion. You know.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I have no opinion because I was trying to look up.
Okay.
Your opinion is there is
Give
none.
it to Garrett. Garrett gets it. That means you guys are tied up 3-3.
Doesn't really start.
Guys, question number 2. Who is the best video game character with man in their name?
Mega Man.
Okay, heard Mega Man. Garrett.
man.
10 seconds.
I'm gonna lose by default. I can't think. Pac-Man.
Excellent.
Okay.
Woo! Good. Glad you got that out there. Okay, I heard Garrett first. So Garrett, why is Mega Man better than Pac-Man?
Mega Man set the standard for not just only like what was a good difficulty threshold in the platformer, but just like the platformer experience. How you change a game to reflect different boss battles, good user feedback, and not only that, Mega Man remains a timeless video game character that's extrapolated today.
Okay. All right, Steven, 20 seconds.
All right, I'm gonna say that difficulty threshold is bullshit because I cannot play a Mega Man game, and neither can many people on this planet. And also, just fishing for the nostalgia factor, I plugged in the NES Classic, and me and my mom played Pac-Man for like a straight up hour, and I put in Mega Man and tried to play that in front of her, and it was very embarrassing because that game is not fair at all.
Okay, 10-second rebuttal, Garrett.
Yeah, Pac-Man is a super repetitive experience that comes from a generation of gaming that is almost totally lost to time as far as that thing. You play Pac-Man when you're drunk. Mega Man is an accomplishment conquest.
10 seconds, Steven.
Literally from the same period of time were Pac-Man and Mega Man, like give or take a couple years. Also, Pac-Man has great accessibility, great replayability, Pac-Man Championship Edition. I love it.
All right. So I think we actually have a fact to check there, actually. I'd like to see.
What was the difference between Pac-Man and Mega Man? Real quick.
I mean, they were both on the NES.
So,
you think just on your phone, to be honest.
I got you. Pac-Man release
Probably older.
was May 1980. Mega Man original release, if I spelt it right.
Yeah.
How are you spelling?
I spelled Mega Man.
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
How do you Mega Man. Mega Man was 7 years later. Ooh.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I will not hold this against you, Steven, because Garrett didn't bring it up, so it wasn't part of the argument. But Pac-Man was an arcade game
7 years before it was an NES game. You could have had him on that.
I didn't even know that.
Well,
nor is it relevant to being better.
But it could have been something you could have used against it. However, you didn't bring that up, so the point actually goes to Pac-Man this time.
Woo! Because it was an arcade game first?
No, that has nothing to do. I didn't need opinions on this one.
Our opinions
It was
don't
Steven.
matter.
It was Steven's point. I was going to say you could have used it again because you didn't use it against him. He won. Like we'll talk about it later. All right. Next question.
Hey, comments.
I'll take it.
I need you to rally. Tell me he's wrong.
Garrett is unhappy that he lost. All right.
I want some stupid Mario Brothers old school gifts from Tumblr.
Yeah, right.
I'll just say this. It's just that you could have made that a point that he didn't know what he was talking about overall because he got that fact wrong, but you didn't, and he had the better argument than you. So I was gonna go with Steven anyway. You know, so I'm just saying you could have.
I mean, I can't refute that because you've already made your decision and it's literally your show.
Okay.
Points for logic, though.
All right. Here we go.
I'm gonna waste
Question
my
number
energy elsewhere.
3. Which do you prefer, 3D or VR?
VR.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
You gotta go 3D. All right, I heard Garrett first. VR, 20 seconds.
VR is both. VR is 3D to a level that we've never previously experienced. VR is 3D with full contextual immersion. Why would you settle for just normal 3D off a normal screen with these glasses you have to wear when you can put on the headset and experience a total contextual immersion?
Okay.
It's the next level.
20 seconds, Steven.
So you got me thinking now about the 3DS versus like every VR software title that's ever existed, and honestly, there is no like legitimately full game experience that someone's been able to come with the VR that's been able to attract the mainstream market to it. 3D is non-intrusive enough to bring that extra element of like dynamicness and beauty to the 3DS characters, and yeah.
All right, 10-second rebuttal, Garrett.
3D has been awesome to us. It really has. But its age is passing, and it is moving on to a new thing. VR will be the future. VR will mark the future for what gaming will be. And replace the 3D.
10 seconds, Steven.
I really can't see VR completely replacing 3D, especially given the popularity in like movies and everything like that. And also, I'm hesitant to say VR is the future just because no one's been able to come out with like a full-fledged game for it. I don't. Yeah.
All right. Whew. This one was a little bit more tough. All right, Nick.
You know, this one was close for me, but I'm going to have to give it to Steven here because while yes, VR may be the future, 3D is still the now, and I liked his points, so I'm gonna go with 3DS or 3D, not 3DS, 3D.
Okay.
I think you just like 3DS.
I don't. Well, I do, but I don't.
Well, I do, but I don't. But I do. All right, Derek, what do you think?
On this one, Garrett had me out of the gate with the VR is 3D because it really is. When you come down to the technology, I had our mother and our father Stephen over here the other day playing zombies in Vive, and they didn't want to leave. So I think it's really just a matter of getting people into that world. And when Garrett said that VR is 3DS out the gate, it's true. It really is just where it's going.
Okay, Jack.
So I am gonna give it to Steven because really, like, between VR and 3D, VR is like better by a milestone. So Steven had the harder argument and he nailed it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Even though Garrett's arguments were great.
Okay. So
giving it the harder.
you and Nick both are siding with Steven. Derek and I are actually siding with Garrett on this one.
Jackie, make him sleep on the couch.
I feel that
I don't care that.
I personally feel that Garrett was
You
able
argued
to,
against virtual reality.
he was able to say how he felt that VR encapsulated everything, and I didn't hear enough of why 3D was superior to the VR experience. So I got to give it to Garrett on this one.
I feel like if you had brought up the cost barrier, you might have won.
I feel like if I
I was looking for that. It's expensive.
I feel like if I got to say VR,
Who's got $700?
No, because he would have brought that up right
I know
there.
you do.
Okay.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Question number 4.
You have a great job, which I might mention. It's worth mentioning. Me and Steven are both 4 for 4 right now.
Oh yeah, 4 for 4.
Oh! So we are literally in a dead heat. This is for match.
I'm so happy because no matter what happens, I get to go pee.
This is the real shit.
I get to save question number 5 for next week. All right.
Or you can ask question number 5. Which is the juicier? How do you want to end your series?
That's an excellent point.
Oh man.
Hey Nick.
I am stirring the pot.
Want to come over here for just a quick second?
And Fat Cam.
Fat Cam.
Hi guys, how's it going?
What up? It's the Fact Squad.
I've got a beer too.
I'm Derek. She's got a beer that's
Beer
not.
Show the label.
That's Blue Boon, not Blue Moon, contrary to popular belief. And she makes awesome things online, which I have bought many of. I have a wonderful glass she made that is a Cave Johnson quote with his exploding lemonade grenades, which was fantastic. I was very happy to run across it.
All right.
So,
Jax makes the
back to the game.
I do
Back to us.
things, guys.
So, Mr. Lynette and I have confirmed, and we have decided on one of the 2 questions that are remaining.
Wait, drumroll.
So, here you go. Question number 4. Who would win in a fight? Solid Snake from Metal Gear or Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil?
Solid Snake.
Oh, he had it first.
Steven had it first.
Okay.
So I have to go
All right.
first.
20 seconds, Steven.
All right. Well, Solid Snake would clearly win because he has a much wider arsenal of more powerful weapons. Given that he's not in a horror game, and the point isn't that he's always so desperate he can't kill the zombies. Metal Gear or Solid Snake has to kill friggin' robots with his giant grenade launchers. He doesn't have time for no pistols. So also Solid Snake's like more muscular. He's like more masculine. So he's got it.
20 seconds, Garrett.
He's got it.
Leon faces down a level of psychological warfare that doesn't even come into encapsulate. You know, he faces full-blown, like, horrific monsters. Not to mention, we all know that Solid Snake is in a constant state of biological breakdown because of his clone biology, as explained by Metal Gear 4. So in the long run, Leon is the superior specimen.
10-second rebuttal, Steven.
Leon is not going to have time for psychological warfare or biological decay to be a factor when Solid Snake blows him up with a grenade launcher. Like, it's over. It's done.
10 seconds, Garrett.
If Leon can survive like the absolute crap that is like all of the Silent Hill universe and all of the Resident Evil universe and all the monsters there, he can survive a freaking machine gun. Okay.
That is the end of the speed round. I'm going to go first to Mr. Lunetta. Mr. Lunetta, who do you feel argued this point better? Hey!
My bad.
Lost your title.
Got it back.
How will we know who
Right? I've got to give it to Garrett. You first off, you slam us with all this information that you just jammed into 20 seconds. Bravo, by the way. But no, you actually
I can talk real fast.
Yeah, you bring in aspects of both characters and pit them against each other that I really appreciate. And I don't know, so I'm going to go with Leon for yours based on your argument.
Okay, thank you.
Derek.
I'm gonna have to go with Steven. I mean, mainly because he got off the gate with the better answer, so it obviously becomes easier for everybody. And I've played the Resident Evils. I don't even have to play the Metal Gear Solid to know that he is by far the better warrior.
Right, but based on the arguments, who said it better?
Steven.
Okay.
For the same reasons that was brought up.
Jackie.
Ooh.
I was
fact checking.
I was just fact checking really quick.
On the Totoro cam?
On the Totoro cam. Garrett said that Leon was in Silent Hill, and I haven't finished.
In retrospect, I don't know that he was, but that was kind of like 20-second word vomit.
There was Leon.
Yeah, that's
Connor, which
same man.
he looks. I can see the
He doesn't need to be in Silent Hill for my argument to hold up.
No, I know, but I mean, like, if that was an actual fact, like, bravo for.
I know,
like,
right? If he had taken on Pyramid Head, I win.
Oh shit, dude! Yeah.
Did you say that Leon was in Silent Hill?
That doesn't even make sense.
Okay.
I did say that very quickly.
That, however, this time, Garrett, that doesn't affect my opinion. And I will. Okay, continue.
So, based on the arguments, talking about how Leon has gone through the psychological warfare of Resident Evil and Raccoon City and all the hijinks that go along with their
Hijinks, good word, Jack.
I thought that you brought up some fun arguments, talking about how Solid Snake is just a clone, so he's deteriorating. So I liked it, and I'm going to give you the point from Jack's cam.
You know what?
Point
That
to you.
really means a lot, girl.
All right, so we got Garrett.
And here's the one that matters.
Derek, Garrett.
No, Garrett, Steven Garrett. He voted for Steven.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
No, Derek voted for Derek.
That's what I meant.
Richie, you're drunk.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah,
We are
Richie's
2-1. So I can either tie it up or just make my decision. And
You can't tie it up. What are you gonna do?
We're 4-4.
You're gonna say we tied?
that's not what I mean. I just mean like if I just meant tie with them. Tie with them.
Oh,
No.
But he
not
could.
Oh man.
Although I could ask you another question if I can't. Like if I think it's too equal.
You do have another one in the pocket.
I
but
don't-
let's see what you
so
say.
I don't think I'm gonna do that this time.
Can't do it.
I really think that Steven, you gave all the right reasons why Solid Snake could win in a fight against
true.
someone. However, Garrett also gave a lot of really great reasons why Leon could take the advantage over Snake, and just Garrett just kind of came out of the gate with like a really great counter argument, and I didn't hear a great counter argument from you as much as just a kind of rewording what you said before, if that makes any sense.
Well, because it'll be a bloody pulpy mess.
All right. I know so half the comments are going to hate me for this, but you know what? I got to give it to Garrett. Garrett wins.
It's rigged.
Also, okay, now that I've won, why the hell would you set those two characters up in conflict? That's a clone of a super soldier versus
it doesn't make
a
sense.
slightly better than average cop.
Leon has to shoot like a zombie like 6 times.
Tune in
That's
next
a
time.
dude who takes
Please subscribe. It's free and
Yeah.
easy.
Why would you do that? That was so hard.
All right.
Leon wouldn't win in a real fight. The
It's
only
over.
way Leon would win is if it was in Leon's world.
All right. I'm so glad you're so enthusiastic, Garrett. But it's not rigged though, because Garrett was a contestant last time and didn't even make it to the speed round.
Oh! That means I have a chance. So we have
Dude, next
trash
time
next
for
week.
Nick Lunetta's absolute destroyous rebuttal.
Yes.
Destroyous rebuttal.
Yeah, Nick, you definitely got to come back.
Contendo.
Okay.
Yikes.
I'm down.
What's up?
Second time someone comes on to the game, they always win, so, there you go.
Tell you.
All right, guys.
That's literally only been
That's gonna
established
do it for
once.
us. Let's go around the table and let's give us some shout outs. Garrett, do you have anything you want to shout out? Any social media?
A few things. As always, I'd like to give you a shout out, as I
thank
do a lot of things for the Rich Alvarez channel, which is a delightful place on YouTube. Go check that out. I have a fruitful martial artist career outside of YouTube that makes its way on occasionally, and also I have started streaming not only with Rich Plays Overwatch, but also with the Complaint Department, new channel. Go check us out on YouTube/The Complaint Department.
All right, Steven.
I have nothing to shout out.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm on the internet, but don't worry about it.
Awesome. Nick Lunetta.
I'm usually on Richie's shows. Stupid Mario World is Squall. So you can check me out there. I'm more of a musical theater person, so hey.
He's very good at it.
Thank you. I'm a much better singer than I am.
Hey,
at
when's your
this
next show?
Legally Blonde. It opens February 24th over at the Tower Theater in Roseville.
Roseville, California.
Yes, Roseville, California. Yes, come check it out. It's a great show.
That's near Sacramento.
For the two of you that is relevant to,
Who live in Roseville, California?
get out here. Get out here.
He plays Al.
Woo! All right,
I
guys.
do. I'm actually Bruiser the dog.
All right.
Adorable.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you for watching Video Game Fights. I'm Rich Alvarez. You can find me right here on the Rich Alvarez channel and on Instagram at Rich M. Alvarez. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Woo!
Bye.
Thank you for watching Video Game Fights. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. And watch this video because it's really sweet.